Good morning. Today we are going to talk about why pi works. And in order to do that, we need to know what pi is as a number. And we know that the symbol pi is a letter from which civilization? That's right, The Greeks, the Greek civilization, have this symbol, which is actually a letter. It's the 16th letter in their alphabet, and it's called pi, spelt P-I. Pi we've just known as 3.14, but why pi? All right, the first thing you need to know about pi is it means a ratio. And a ratio is simply a comparison. It's when you compare things. So look here, I've written out different examples of how to write a ratio. I'm comparing things. So if 1 out of every 5 people like pizza, we could write that as 1 out of 5. Or 1 out of 5 would be 1 out of 5 total people, so we could write it as a fraction, 1/5. And you know every fraction is that's right, a division problem. Good job, class. And finally, the last way that you can write a ratio is with this little full colon here. Looks like time, but we also use this colon for when we're showing something to something else, when we are comparing things. If you remember this from reading or writing, it's called an analogy. When you compare two things and you find the relationship, well, this says 1 out of 5, just like this says 1 out of 5, and just like this says 1 out of 5. So pi is really, instead of 1 out of 5, it's a ratio that compares circumference to diameter. So C compared to D, C over D, C to D. So when we see that, C, circumference, so funny. We're going to see it as C, circumference, divided by D. So literally in the calculator, what would the sequence be if I had a circumference of 24 inches, which means the entire way around the circle is 24 inches. And then if I measured across the circle, the diameter would be, I don't know, maybe 6. So then we divide 24 by 6. You know that's going to give us an even 4, but I'm just using answers so it's easy for you to see how we're going to be dividing that. Today you're going to use a calculator, so when you type it in, you know that you would type the numerator first, divided by, and then type in the denominator. So in the calculator, that would look like, got my SRB out. That's key sequence, once you turn the calculator on, would simply be, let's have a number, whatever, would be 24 divided by 6. So you always type in the numerator first, divided by 6. Oh, this is one of the broken ones. Oh well. Anyways, you believe me. You know that 24 divided by 6 is 4. Okay. Next, I'm going to show you how you're actually going to prove how to get 3.14 every single time, or close to 3.14, because remember, we are not perfect. We are not going to be using compasses today. We're going to be using objects and the best measurement and drawing that you can. So every time you do this activity, you're going to get a number that's very close to pi. But the whole purpose is to show you that every time you take the circumference of a circle that you measure and you divide it by the diameter, you're always going to get 3.14 or close to it because, again, we're not perfect, but that's the relationship or the ratio, comparison, whatever, between circumference and diameter. So again, pi is 3.14. And how do we get 3.14? By putting the circumference over the diameter and dividing. Got it? Got it? Okay, do you want to try? Fabulous. Now let's go to the page in your journal that we'll be working in today.